My name is Azri. I'm a partner from IRB Law LLP. My path to becoming a lawyer has actually been a bit different from most people. I actually went to neighborhood schools all my life. I was actually a very poor student until my A-levels. And then, thankfully I did well and I went to NUS Law, where I obtained a first-class honours law degree. Thereafter now, I wanted to actually contribute back to society with my law degree, and I wanted to do something meaningful. So that is why, thereafter, instead of joining a private law firm, I decided to join the Singapore Legal Service, first as a deputy public prosecutor, then a state counsel, and finally, towards the end, an assistant director of legal aid. For example, as a public prosecutor, I was able to bring criminal cases to court, whether simple traffic offences or serious offences like sexual offences or drug offences. At the end of the day, the role of a public prosecutor goes far beyond just sending people to jail, but also to ensure that a charge is fair and to uphold justice. Since I was young, I've always felt that the world is unfair in many ways to people. For example, there are people who are blamed for things that they never did, people who are punished for things they may not have been responsible for, and of course, the dynamic that people in power may be able to bully others. And I feel that as a lawyer with a law degree, I have a duty to make the world a bit fairer in whatever ability and capacity I can. And eventually I realized that I found a place at IRB Law where I'm able to do this, and this is why I'm here today. To be honest, it's not as glamorous as what you see on the TV lah. Well, my day starts pretty early. I'm an early riser. I usually wake up around 5:30 a.m. I say a short prayer, and then the first thing I do is to check my exploding emails and try to reply as many emails and correspondence as I possibly can. And then this is a time for personal reflection also. I usually take about an hour of my day or so to spend with my mother in the morning before she goes off to work. And then from there on, it's about preparing for court, which usually starts about 9 a.m. And then that would take me to any time between 11:30 or 12:30 in the afternoon, right? So usually my entire afternoon is spent talking to clients or prospective clients. Thereafter, I'll take a short break for my dinner, and then I'll commence legal drafting of documents and submissions and things like that. And that would take me all the way until about 11:30 or 12 in the evening. From there, I'll take a bit of a rest and then I'll go to bed, and the cycle starts again. I try as much possible not to work on weekends lah. But in terms of the type of work I do at IRB Law, it's actually a very mixed bag. I do things from the most simple of criminal cases like theft to big money commercial matters in the High Court. I also do complex family matters, especially where they're quite acrimonious, and even some corporate work here and there. This is a personal calling, but I try to also take on one pro bono case a month at least, subject to, of course, my ability to handle work. But, this is the thing, right? Every lawyer's experience will be different, especially at IRB Law. The important thing to anyone who wants to be a lawyer to note is that you are in charge of your personal journey. You are in charge of charting out your own destiny in the legal fraternity. And so I've got to give credit to my boss, Mr. Byros, because at IRB Law here, he gives all his lawyers a platform and canvas to chart their own professional journey, like I said. And really, here, the sky is the limit. And, well, I hope that gives you an insight into the life of a lawyer. I've prosecuted hundreds of cases as a DPP, and many of them are exciting with all kinds of salacious details. But the most meaningful case I've done actually is a simple theft case, one of the first few cases I took on at IRB Law. My client had honestly stolen a couple of bicycles lah, and he was originally unrepresented and without a lawyer. So being very remorseful and being very responsible in wanting to own up about his offences, he actually went to court and told the judge, Judge, I want to plead guilty here, and I'll take whatever sentence that is coming for me. But little did he know that he was going to face a sentence of 6 to 8 weeks jail for actually stealing this couple of bicycles. He was shocked, and the judge also told him at that point in time, hey, so and so, I think it's best that you actually seek legal advice and representation in the matter. So when he first came to me, he was very, very honest with me. He told me, Mr. Azri, can you just help me write a letter to the court to express my remorse and my mitigation plea? But I told him, wow, you're facing a very serious sentence like this. Do you not want me to represent you in court? But he said, Mr. Azri, I don't want to waste your time. I can't afford legal fees at all. So I looked at his case. Look, this was a 46-year-old man with a young son, a wife. They had a lot of financial issues, and more than that, he had an ailing mother who was very sick to take care of. I looked at his case and I saw the prospective sentence that he was facing of 6 to 8 weeks jail as a complete injustice. I felt it was completely unfair that, a man who had never committed a crime in his life would be going to jail for quite some time for just taking bicycles. So I told him, look, Mr. So-and-so, I'll do your case for free. Here's how the case went. The first thing first is that the charge that he was facing, without disclosing too much technical detail, would have carried mandatory jail. So the first thing that I needed to do was actually to get his charge reduced, right? Thankfully, the prosecution agreed and saw sense in reducing his charge. Now, even then, he was going to be facing fines for this offence as a result of the charge being reduced. And we had to be very creative because he couldn't pay the fines, honestly. So what we did was actually, we submitted to the judge that, this is a man with significant financial problems and social problems as well as other issues. But to cut a long story short, the judge agreed with us and he was sentenced to a day reporting order and community service orders. What was meaningful about this case was not so much the exceptional outcome that arose from this case, but the impact that it had on both me and my client. On my client's level, on one level, not going to jail means that he could continue working and supporting his family. That's one. But the second thing is that for him, he told me that his perspective of lawyers completely changed. I'll read to you a message that he sent me. Mr. Azri, till date I am so thankful for you to take up my case and carry my burdens. You changed the way how I look at lawyers, as I felt you are someone who fight for justice. You never see me as an offender and have always been very polite to me. You have done your best for me. Thank you so much. We'll keep in touch and I wish you the best in your career. When I read this message early into my career in private practice at IRB law, it really changed my perspective on how I saw clients too. It helped me realize that as a criminal defense lawyer, I can't always change the outcomes in a case. Sometimes if people have to go to jail, they have to go to jail. But what is important is that I am walking this journey with my clients. I am doing the best I can for them, and I'm making sure they are not alone each and every step of the way. And more importantly, regardless of what they do, I don't judge them and I see them as a fellow human being. I would like to say that I'm very grateful to be able to work at IRB Law. I work for a firm that serves the community first, with the aim of providing available legal services, especially for those who do not qualify for the estate's own help. I would just say to anyone watching this video, no case is too big or too small for our firm, and we welcome you through our doors. We'll be happy to advise and help as best as we can.